We get paid for bringing value to the marketplace. Once you understand this, the world is yours. The marketplace is the people, and the value is in two parts. The value you bring, like a product or service, employment, and the second is the value you become. This can make you a living. This can make you a fortune. I learned that little economic outline when I was 25 years old. It really changed my life. And if you work for a company that keeps working on the product, they'll keep making the product better. The key for your better future is to keep making yourself better. Economics in America is very simple. It starts at $5 an hour. Called what? Minimum wage. And then it just goes up like this. Top income last year, I think, 36 million. Somebody earned for 1 year's work. So from $5 an hour up to 36 million, that's economics in America. No wonder everybody wants to come here. Guess what we call that? A heck of a ladder. I mean, that's, what else could you call it? Now, here's something that changed my life forever. When I found out at age 25 that my income was primarily determined by my philosophy, not the economy. So make that note now, and if you know it, that's wonderful. If you teach it, that's even better. Your income is primarily determined by your philosophy, not the economy. I had no concept of that when I was 25 years old. I would have sworn to you. Because when my mentor said to me, how come you're not doing well? I showed him my paycheck. I said, look, this is all the company pays. He said, no, that's all the company pays you. I thought, well, that's a new way to look at it. Speaking of philosophy, how would you go from $5 an hour to $6 an hour? Let me give you some examples on philosophy that can get you from $5 an hour to $6 an hour. Here's number one. Wait for the government to change the minimum wage. That's simple and easy, right? If you wait long enough, sure enough, the government will change the minimum wage, let's say to $6. Now, by law, the company must pay you $6, so you're home free. You say yes, but how long will it take? Answer, I'm sure much longer than you want to wait. But that's the first philosophy, wait for the government. Here's number two, wait for the company to pay you $6 an hour. How long will that take? How often is the review? 6 months, 1 year, let's say you don't make it. Second year, say, well, that's a long time to go from 5 to 6. It is a long time, but that's the next philosophy, wait for the company. Here's the third philosophy, and that's to go on strike. We call it the philosophy of demand. I demand $6 or I won't work. Now, if you're by yourself, this is a risky philosophy. If you've got 1,000 people now to take with you to the company and say, all 1,000 of us will not work unless we get $6, now you might have a chance. But by yourself, this philosophy doesn't work very well. The philosophy of demand only works by collective bargaining, we call it. Okay? And it does work. However, it's very limiting. You might get an extra penny or two, you might get an extra dollar, you might get an extra benefit, but it's very limiting, the philosophy of demand. And here's what for sure, jot this down. Using the philosophy of demand, you cannot get rich. If getting rich is of interest to you. You can't get rich using this philosophy. Gosh, it's so sad when somebody is in the right country and they got the wrong philosophy. So you can't get rich by demand. So now, what would be the next philosophy that might work better for all of us? And I'm sure it's one of the reasons why all of us got here to this room today. Here it is, the philosophy of performance. The philosophy of performance simply states, I will perform so well, arriving early, staying late, doing all the extra things, that the company would easily be justified in paying me $6. My father gave one of the greatest seminars in a simple little sentence. Here's what Papa said. I wish he was here to say it, but since he's gone, I'll say it for him. Here's what he said. Always do more than you get paid for. Now, some unions would argue with us on that point and say, no, that messes up the system. But this is what Papa said. Always do more than you get paid for to make an investment in your future. These are philosophies to follow. Your income is determined primarily by your philosophy. See, that changes everything. Is it possible to multiply your income by 10? All kids need to hear this. It's not being taught, I don't think, in the local schools. You have to come to a Jim ROHN seminar to hear this. I never heard it until I was 25. It's possible to multiply your income by 10. If we searched around the Palm Springs area, could we find somebody that makes $50 an hour? And the answer is yes, of course. So it's possible to multiply your income by 10. Could you multiply it by 10 again? That's $500 an hour. If we searched around this area, would we have to search very long until we find someone that makes $500 an hour? No. Everybody agrees. So it's not only possible to multiply your income by 10, it's possible to multiply it by 10 again. Now, would it be possible to multiply it by 10 again? $5,000 an hour. What do you suppose I get paid? It's not open for public disclosure. I've lectured with, Schwarzkopf and Colin Powell and Henry Kissinger and all the rest. They get paid well. Schwarzkopf gets $65,000 for a 1-hour speech. So all you have to do is become a general in the Army, win the Gulf War, you get $65,000 for a 1-hour speech. Bill Clinton gets what? $125,000 for a 1-hour speech. And then this just keeps on going, on up to the stratosphere. Someone earned $36 million last year for 1 year's work. So that's the ladder. Now, jot this down. To climb this ladder as high as you wish. And you got to underline the word wish. Because part of your future now is what you wish and what you want. How much property will they let you own in America? As much as you want. This is wish-want country. You've dropped into the right place. As much as you want, as much as you wish. And not to have any, when you live in a country where you can have as much as you want and as much as you wish, see, wouldn't that be puzzling to people outside the country? As much as you wish. To climb this ladder as high as you wish in terms of bringing value to the marketplace and becoming valuable to the marketplace as high as you wish, here's all you have to do, and learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job.
Now, it takes time to bring value to the marketplace. However, we do not get paid for time, so we cross that out. Mistakenly, the man says, I'm making about $20 for an hour. Not true. If that was true, you could just stay home, right, and have them send your money. So that's not true. We don't get paid for time, we get paid for value brought to the marketplace. Now, since that's true, here's one of the key questions of my talk to you today. Is it possible to become twice as valuable to the marketplace and make twice as much money in the same time? Is that possible? The answer is yes. Could you become 3 times as valuable as you might be right now to the marketplace and make 3 times as much money in the same time? And the answer is yes. 5 times, 10 times? Of course. America is unique. It's a ladder to climb. It starts down here, let's say, at $5 an hour, and it keeps going up. Now, that's a heck of a ladder. That's why everybody wants to come here, right? The boat people are not headed for Vietnam. People haven't plotted and schemed for 50 years saying, if I could just get to Poland, everything would be okay. Not true. Everybody wants to come to America. And the reason is because we've got the best wind ever blowing in our favor. We've got the best economic opportunity anybody's had in 6,500 years. And all you have to do is understand it and take advantage of it. Now, there's some key questions to ask here. Why would the marketplace pay someone only $5 an hour? Very simple answer. They're not very valuable to the marketplace. Now, we must underline to the marketplace. This person might be a very valuable brother. Yes. Member of the family, valuable. Yes. Valuable member of the church, of course. Valuable citizen of the country? Yes. Valuable in the sight of God? No doubt. We're all of equal value in the sight of God. But if you're not very valuable to the marketplace, you don't get much money. You say, well, it shouldn't be that way. Well, then you got to start your own country. You know, this one's been in process for 200 years, and this is the best we've been able to come up with so far. But here's the key. You don't have to stay here. Now, there was a big debate in Congress last year that this $5 was not enough, should be 6, should be 6, should be 6. But we don't need legislation. 6 is already on this ladder. The next step up. You know, if you work for McDonald's, they'll pay you $5 an hour to take out the trash. If you whistle while you take out the trash, they'll pay you $6 an hour. So we don't need that legislation. You just need to take lessons on how to whistle. Have a good attitude. Now, as you begin to climb this ladder, why would the marketplace pay some people $50 an hour? Answer, evidently, they must be more valuable to the marketplace. 10 times more valuable. And is that possible for someone to be 10 times more valuable and earn $50 an hour instead of 5? And the answer is yes. That's what America is all about. Now, why would the marketplace pay some people $500 an hour? Evidently, this person must be much more valuable to the marketplace. That's what's important to understand, to the marketplace. And would the marketplace pay one person $80 million for 1 year's work? And the answer is, of course. If you helped a company make $1 billion, would they pay you $80 million? I'm telling you, it is possible. And that's why America is so exciting. That's why this financial ladder is so exciting. It's possible for all of this to come true for all of you, no matter where you start. As a student in school, just getting started out there in the workplace, this is all possible for you. Now, Mr. Shoaff gave me the clue on how to climb this ladder as high as I wanted to climb. Now, we're talking primarily economics here. There's a lot of other ways to become valuable to your family, valuable to your friends, valuable to the community, valuable to the team, right? Valuable to the team effort, valuable to the concert. But here's what he said to me. In climbing this ladder economically, all you have to do is work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Once I heard that, it made sense to me. Here's the next one. Pay your taxes. I finally became a happy taxpayer. Here's what paying taxes does. Feeds the goose that lays the golden eggs called American opportunity. You say, well, the goose eats too much. Probably true. But make the note, better a fat goose than no goose. Here's the next key. Everybody should pay. My personal philosophy is everybody should pay federal taxes as well as state or whatever else. It's not wise for the government to let 1/3 of American citizens off the federal tax rolls. Why? Here's what it does. If you let them off the federal tax rolls, it robs them of the dignity. They have to pay state taxes. They have to pay sales tax. I've been trying to write this book for so long called, Of Course Kids Should Pay Taxes. When a kid in California walks into 7-Eleven and buys something that costs $1, the proprietor asks the kid for 8 more pennies. Kid says, what's these 8 pennies? He says, that's the taxes. The kid says, I'm only 8 years old. And the proprietor says, congratulations, you're my youngest taxpayer. Give me the money. Should kids pay taxes? Yes. If you want to ride your bicycle on the sidewalk instead of in the mud, you got to cough up the 8 pennies. What if you're poor? Do you pay the 8 pennies? Yes. What if you're rich? Yes. Meaning everybody should pay. The same should apply to federal. I don't care if it's $10 a year. I don't care if it's only $100 a year. As poor as you might be, you've got to say, no matter how poor I am at the moment, I will make my contribution. So everybody should pay. How much do you think aircraft carriers cost?
We pay our taxes so a policeman will walk the beat so we can sleep like a baby. Hey, the Air Force doesn't sleep. The Army doesn't sleep 24 hours, so you can sleep as much time as required. Peace of mind. The missiles are ready and the aircraft carriers are there. So, you got that down now? I got to pay for my aircraft carrier. I got to pay some young volunteer that risks his life on night landings on an aircraft carrier. You got to pay if you want that kind of security in the world. Of course, we may disagree sometimes with government policy and all the rest, but I'm telling you, everybody needs to pay. Now, here's one of the best stories ever written. According to the record, Jesus and his disciples one day were at the synagogue, and on this occasion, they had an interesting project, and that was to stand outside the synagogue as people started coming in, putting money in the treasury of the synagogue. And as Jesus and his disciples stood outside watching the people come by, putting their money in the treasury, it said, some came with large amounts, put them in the treasury. It said some came by with modest amounts, some came by with small amounts. Then along comes a little lady, and she puts 2 pennies in the treasury. And Jesus said to his disciples, look at that. They said, 2 pennies? What's 2 pennies? He says, no, you don't understand. She gave more than everybody else. They said, 2 pennies is more than everybody else? He said, yes, because I'm positive her 2 pennies represented most of what she had. So since she gave most of what she had, she gave the most. Now, here's what did not occur in the story. I'm so brilliant, I can give you what the author left out. Here's what did not occur. When the little lady put her 2 pennies in the treasury and walked away, here's what didn't occur. Jesus didn't run after this little lady and said, hold it, little lady. My disciples and I have decided that you're so pitiful and you're so poor. We have decided to take the 2 pennies out of the treasury and give them back to you. I'm telling you, that did not occur. If it would have occurred, she would have been what? Insulted. Hey, it was only 2 pennies, but it was most of what I had. Would you rob me of the joy of giving my 2 pennies? So that scene did not occur. So jot this down. Jesus left her 2 pennies in the treasury, even though she was poor. What does that mean? Everybody needs to pay, even if it's only 2 pennies.